Hello and welcome to the Mormon Meat Locker. I'm one of your hosts, Cable the Party Jenkins, and we have our co-host Caroline Kingsley with us tonight. And joining us tonight is artist John Zamudio.
Perfect. You pronounced it very well my last name. Congratulations.
John is a classy guy, so we wanted to make sure that we all dressed appropriately. This is a very special podcast.
Thank you so much.
And Cable, I have to say, outshone us both. I mean, how can you keep the tux shirt?
Last minute, she's like, "You got to dress up." I was like, that's
We got a theme.
my go-to move.
All right, so John is an artist, and he does a lot of religious paintings. And so, will you tell us a little bit about your artwork, how you got started, what your inspiration is? Well, let's start with how you got started with what you do.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you for your invitation and for asking that important question to me. For me, paying to the Lord is the most amazing thing because several years ago when I had to decide what kind of subject I needed to paint, passed in my mind several options to paint fruits, to paint plants, to paint, whatever. However, when came in my mind Jesus Christ, I was so excited because when you paint Jesus Christ, you're painting not only a painting, you're painting a message. You're painting probably healing. You're painting something that will be beyond your own death. So I was so inspired to paint Jesus Christ because that means a lot to me. And at the same time, I wanted to bring my legacy to the earth. So I was that kind of commitment with myself, and I started to paint a lot of painting of Jesus Christ. So my paintings usually represent Jesus Christ in several cultures around the world. So my message is, despite our differences, we still believe in someone from who came from the sky, who taught and promised to come back.
Okay, I love that. And actually, as you're talking, I was thinking, let's go a little back even a little bit further and tell us a little bit about where you're from and kind of your background that way.
Sure, I'm from Peru. I was raised in my country until I was probably 21 years old, and then I started to travel. I come from a family who we are five children. All of them are very successful in their areas. So my country has several characteristics, social issues, political issues. So in that time, when I decided to become a painter, was very hard. Probably here in US happens the same when some of your kids want to be a painter or an artist. The most common answer is, hey, don't be crazy, right? Try to find something different, something that you will have an income more regular. So I had that kind of situation. But in my country, as being a man, was worse because in my country, in that time when I decided to become a painter, was very hard to get some oil tubes. I remember I took a bus. I used to take a bus and then for 2 hours until I got a little store. And those paintings, those oil on tubes, cost, I would say, 5 times than here. And I could buy only two or three. So I needed to be very creative in order that I can paint even one painting at a time.
Wow, that's really interesting, and I think there's so much we take for granted, and and how things are done in different ways. And so, tell us a little bit about the process of creating a painting.
Okay, the process is very interesting because there are a lot of mediums. You can paint oil on canvas. You can paint even watercolor. In my case, I started with oil on canvas. So in that time, I prepare my own canvas to straight with a wood and then to draw and then little by little put it like layers on oil, layer by layer. The good thing about oil is that the oil is still wet even during a week. So it means that you can fix a face for several days. If you commit a mistake, you can delete it and you can restart.
Mm, I really like that, and
I love it.
yeah, that's interesting. And tell us a little bit about where the inspiration comes from.
My inspiration comes from my own existence
Mm-hmm.
because there was a time that I was thinking about myself when I look back in my life and I saw that I haven't built any anything. I haven't given like a legacy. So in that time, I wanted to do something different. I wanted to create something different. I didn't want to just spend in this earth just for eating or wearing or something like that. I needed to do something extra. So in that way, I could bring my message. I could even show my legacy. I can leave my footprint in this earth. So that inspiration comes from my own existence. At the same time, my own belief. I believe in Jesus Christ, and I believe that in His teaching. So I do believe, and I can help people through my paintings, through my art.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's awesome. And I know that I'm trying to plug in my thing here, so we'll see if that works. I'm on my phone. Um, but I know that I attended a gala of yours, and I've loved walking around and seeing the different beautiful images. And I, sorry, stole one of the little pictures that you had on the tables framed. I figured they weren't being used anymore, and I don't know if it's bad to steal a picture of Christ, but I keep it beside my desk. And so every morning as I'm working, I have that picture of Christ that just kind of reminds me of what we're all doing here and what it's about. So I know me personally, like your artwork has affected me, and I love that. And I was able to meet Jesus at your gala. The
Yes.
youth is your inspiration, and I never thought I'd meet him in this lifetime. So thank
Yeah, right. I work with real people, with
you. Hmm.
models. When I was in Peru, my country, I remember I couldn't get someone that can adapt to Jesus Christ. So I saw a guy who was my trainer in the gym. He was a very huge guy. Of course, his face was a little bit different, so I had to purify his face to make it more like Jesus Christ, more pure and everything. I had to change his entire hair because he was a curly guy. So when I came here, my big challenge was to get my model of Jesus Christ.
Hmm.
So I was asking for on Facebook and on my social media trying to get someone that looks like him. So I was so happy because when I meet this person, in the moment I knew that that guy would be my Jesus Christ model. Even people didn't see that on him, but as soon as I saw him, I knew it. So the most interesting part is about painting Jesus Christ and how to be in a painting where you represent Jesus Christ not only changed my life as a painter, changed the life of the one who is my Jesus Christ in this painting. I remember when I was in Peru, my model was a guy of 18 years old guy, and in that time he took it seriously when he was in his mission of LDS mission. He talked to his companion that he was a model of Jesus Christ, so his life should be in the same way as well. So it was very interesting how he took this responsibility of being Jesus Christ in some paintings. And now he's a president of a one stake. It's amazing. So now this person is my model of Jesus Christ, and he has a kind of life very pure. I mean, I really admire him because in several ways he's the most gentle guy that I ever met. It's very interesting how Jesus Christ, even in a simple painting, can change our own life,
That's
even
amazing.
my life in many ways.
How do you feel like your life was changed?
Oh yeah, in many ways. I remember when I started to paint Jesus Christ. I remember I had a lot of doubts. I had a lot of um, doubts about my life, if I can make it or not, and then even my own testimony about the gospel. So every time when I paint Jesus Christ, in some way that increases my own testimony about the Lord. I don't know how to explain it, but I feel like kind of strained in my life about the gospel and about Jesus Christ. I feel like every time, can you imagine see Jesus Christ's face every single day in your life during 12 years, trying to make his face, trying to make it better and better? It's amazing. I feel like an extraordinary faith about what I'm doing and about his gospel.
Well, that's amazing. I was thinking, if there's something, that's worked for you in your career that's helped you with all those doubts about your life, I could use that. And maybe that's what our scriptures are, though, is to keep Christ in the forefront of our lives, right?
Yes.
And I made a goal for myself to start reading my scriptures again, and I've actually been reading 3 chapters a day the last few months, and it's been amazing, how I think it's changed my life and made things. I don't know if it's made my challenges any less, but I think things have felt a little smoother for me.
Yeah, and I feel a little bit closer in some ways. In some ways, I have a human being. I have my own mistakes, like normal people, right? Painting Jesus Christ reminds me all the time. Hey, John, you should be in this way. Hey, John, you should be in that way. All the time. It's very interesting.
So I remember, and I don't remember any of the details, but there was some inspired story that you told about hands.
Oh, yeah. I do firesides and I do conferences in order to encourage people to achieve their own goals. So I have my own story. When I was 2 years old, my mom told me that I had a huge accident, a very bad accident in my hands. She told me that I felt in a fire, so there was like plastic bags in that fire, so those was stuck to my hands, and my hands was wet with fire. So my mom saw that, and she tried to take it off, and she was taking my skin off as well. So it was very, very, very bad, that accident. So in that moment, my mom told me that I couldn't even open my hands. So I had a lot of scars, very deep scars even now. So I remember when I was in school, I was so ashamed to show those hands to my friends. Even in the recess, when it was time to play with my friends, I couldn't go out, just I was in my classroom, drawing and drawing, because drawing was like my escape to my own world. It was when I was 2 years old. But when I was 4 years old, I saw a huge explosion. A fireworks factory exploded just in front of me. So that situation, in some ways, impacted me, and I had high fever for more than a week. And after that, I couldn't speak well, and I started to stutter. So can you imagine a little boy ashamed because his hands, and then this boy can't talk, can't talk. So I was that boy. I couldn't talk with my friends. I couldn't talk even a sentence. So I was in that way. Almost my entire childhood, even when I was teenager, I couldn't talk.
Hang on a
Was
second.
great.
Or is it just my end?
What do you
Cable.
say, sir?
I don't know why it's doing that.
Are you watching us on YouTube?
No.
Kind of echo there.
It's like one of those really awkward calls. You can hear yourself.
Yes, it's cable speaker.
Hello.
You just wanted to see me. What can I say?
I wonder if you might have to mute it on your end. Did you mute it? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, you made it.
Just to get through it for the next few minutes. So we talked about you working with live people. We talked about the person you used for Jesus. What is it like working with live people for your paintings?
It's amazing. It's amazing. I work with live people because that means a lot from them to them. Because when you paint someone from your mind, okay, it's good because you can express your feelings and your message. But when you include real people, live people, they feel like a connection with the
Mhm.
painting, with the Lord, and you have no idea the impact that this painting will have to them. The impact is very, very, very interesting. I have a lot of stories about it, a lot of stories. So every time I receive several emails from everywhere asking me about some paintings or what about if I paint a new subject because someone has like a dream about Jesus Christ. At the same time, people who are in my painting, they all the time talk to me and they tell me about in which way that painting impact their goals as a family in the gospel.
Oh, that's amazing. And have you gotten, well, I know you have. What kind of feedback have you gotten from people that have purchased your paintings? And I know you have some fans out there. I talked to one lady who came to the gala who says that she doesn't spend money. She just doesn't, spend money on many things. She has very few items at her house, but one thing she does spend money on is art. And she was a big fan of yours. And what are some of the stories that you hear from people or some of the feedback you get from people who purchase your artwork as well?
Yeah, for example, one of them, I have some stories. One of those stories that for me is very special comes from someone before I came to Utah. I remember several years ago when I was in Peru when I painted my first painting of Jesus Christ. Um, this painting was in the church museum in 2012, and I would say 2010. And then this person sent me an email with he was very grateful because I painted this painting, but he told me his story. He told me that his twins, babies, uh, were dead before they were born, still dead, still born.
Hmm.
Okay. For them, this challenge was very hard, very hard. So they cried for several months. Even his wife, she didn't understand and she complained. She complained about God, and they rejected the gospel, and they didn't want to go to the church, and then they didn't know how to overcome this hard chapter in their life because everything was ready. The room for the babies and everything was ready, but when supposed to have their babies supposed to come, they were dead. So, and then one day when this person was around the church museum, he decided to get in. In the museum, he saw my painting about Jesus Christ surrounded by children in white. And that moment, he felt something very, very, very deep in his heart. He felt like his babies were are with Jesus Christ, with him. And then, but the impact that he felt was so, so deep, and he started to cry of happiness. And then he called to his wife to come to join him to see this painting. And then together they were almost praying to the Lord and crying in front of my painting. And then they sent me an email with gratitude for this painting, and they told me that I should continue in this path because they felt that they were blessed just looking one painting of Jesus Christ. But at the same time, this painting of Jesus Christ has a lot of stories behind. Uh, I remember that even the President Monson took a picture next to this painting. And just before Christmas, I received a letter from the President Monson as soon as I receive it, this big envelope, I remember, says first president of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And I say, oh, I've done something bad? I was thinking, oh no, I didn't do something bad. I was thinking, yeah. And then I opened this envelope and I saw this huge picture of him with a letter signed by the President Monson. And he gave me a blessing of all my paintings. And I continued to use my talent to bless families. So I feel that this blessing was real, because every time when I paint a painting of Jesus Christ, every time I receive stories about how a simple painting, can do something in their life.
That's incredible. Those are both incredible stories, and you know you're doing something right when the prophet of the church writes you, and
Yeah.
it's good.
Yeah, and you know what?
Obviously, we don't want to be in the bad way, but that's amazing, and it just shows you that you're on the right track. And we need to start winding down. But before we do, I just wanted to ask you. Obviously, you've been able to, through your career, which is fantastic, do something that inspires so many people. For the people listening, watching, is there something that you would recommend that people do just to inspire those around them in whatever capacity they can?
Yes. Yeah. One of the things that encouraged me to do conferences and firesides is because usually people do what they have to do and not what they feel to do. So I found that situation in everywhere where I go. So I tell people that they should follow their own dreams. All of us have different kind of skills. Can be art, can be sports, can be telecommunications, like you, like cable. We have different talent. This is why this world is perfect, because we have different talents. We should use it. We should use it in order to help people, to encourage people, to inspire people. So I do believe that all of us have different kind of skills, all of us, and we have to use it.
That's true, and that's the big key right there, right? Is
Yes.
not to bury our talents, but to let it bless the lives of other people. And Cable, I know you probably are itching to say some things. Do you want to try and see if you're getting feedback on your own voice? Or you can type me, and I can read it for you.
I'm not getting feedback. It was just popping to my picture. So, no, that's great. Love all the stuff you said today, John. Appreciate having you on here.
Thank you so much.
Well, thank you. I think okay, Cable, you finished.
Well, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it. We want to thank John for coming on and sharing his some insight into his talent with us. And we look forward to having you with us again. Thanks, everybody. See you next time.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, John. Thanks, Cable.